No one comes to the Father except through me. John 14:6, what it meant in Jesus' time. Jesus boldly declared, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. This was a powerful statement in a time when religious leaders believed righteousness came through rituals, sacrifices, and strict adherence to their own laws rather than God's true commandments. But Yeshua was not just a teacher of the Torah. He was the living Torah in the flesh. John chapter 1:14. Every word he spoke and every action he took was a perfect example of God's law in motion. He showed what true obedience looked like, not through empty traditions, but through faith, love, and righteousness. He made it clear. Following him means obeying God's laws, and without obedience, no one will enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapters 7:21-23. How it applies to today's world, religious corruption still exists. Just like in Jesus' time, false teachers today claim there are many ways to God. But Jesus shut that down. There is only one way. Through him, the living Torah. Many follow pastors, priests, popes, and man-made traditions, choosing to celebrate Sunday worship, Easter, Christmas, and false doctrines like the Trinity and Rapture, instead of keeping the Sabbath and God's holy feasts. People want the Father without obedience. Many claim to believe in God but reject his commandments. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. John chapter 14:115. Those who refuse to obey are lawless and will hear, depart from me, I never knew you. The path to heaven is not just about believing, it's about living in obedience to Yeshua, the living Torah. Sin distracts and destroys. People today are enslaved to sin, caught in lust, pornography, vanity, greed, excessive drinking, drugs, social media addiction, and selfishness. Many think they can live how they want and still enter the kingdom. But Jesus warns, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only those who do the will of my Father. Matthew chapter 7:21. The two types of people. Those who walk the narrow path, they follow Yeshua, the living Torah, in obedience to God's laws. They keep the Sabbath and feasts, rejecting man-made holidays. They turn away from sin and walk in righteousness. They love the truth and live by it. Those who walk the path of destruction, they claim to believe, but refuse to obey. They follow religious traditions instead of Scripture. They continue in sin, ignoring God's commandments. They are deceived by the world's distractions and lies. Will you follow the living Torah? Yeshua is the only way to the Father, but following him means living in obedience. Are you obeying his commandments or just believing in his name? Are you following Yeshua's example or the traditions of men? Are you walking in righteousness or distracted by sin and worldly desires? Choose obedience, follow the living Torah, and enter the kingdom, because without obedience, you will not see heaven.